Hey guys, so I wanted to answer a question that I see popping up a lot. People saying that, oh my god, Bitcoin, it's going down with inflation. That doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't Bitcoin go up with inflation? And my answer to that, is that you need to think about it realistically. What drives the price of Bitcoin is people buying and people selling. Most of those people do not believe Bitcoin is an inflation hedge yet. Most of the people buying and selling Bitcoin don't believe it is an inflation hedge. Gold is another thing. Gold has been around for a long time, and people have known gold to be an inflation hedge for decades, because it has survived through a lot of currencies. You get it? Gold has survived through a lot of government currencies. And it will survive through the euro and the dollar. The euro is just around 20 years old. The dollar, after the gold standard, which is the dollar we have now, has survived for 50 years. And after both those currencies are gone, gold will remain. Now, when those currencies are gone, the dollar and the euro, Bitcoin will also remain. Bitcoin will stay alive. Bitcoin doesn't have the issue of extreme inflation, increasing inflation that the dollar and the euro have. It will survive. Bitcoin will survive. But people don't view it as an inflation hedge yet because it hasn't survived multiple government currencies decade after decade, after century, like the gold has. Gold has been around since Egypt, since ancient Egypt. And since then we've had government currencies from Rome, Greece, many government currencies. They have all failed. Gold continued to hold value because it doesn't have that problem of being controlled by a centralized entity. It is controlled by nature, by how much nature is willing to give. You get it? So Bitcoin isn't controlled by a centralized entity either. It is controlled by it's not controlled by a centralized entity. It's controlled by a decentralized network. And this decentralized network doesn't have the same issues as centralized banks around the world. No, it doesn't have the same problem as the European Central Bank, the American Central Bank, the Japanese Central Bank, the English Central Bank. Doesn't have the same problems of insane inflation, insane money printing, greed. Because when you have a centralized entity controlling your currency, you're subject to their human defects. Greed, power seeking, all that stuff. Bitcoin is immune. Bitcoin uses greed in its advantage to survive. The system of Bitcoin uses greed to thrive. And it does not have the same problem. It will survive after the dollar and the euro. So, why is it dropping? Because it hasn't yet proved, like gold, for centuries that it holds its value after major government currencies fall. It hasn't proved itself yet. When the dollar and the euro fall, become worth much less and quicker, people will look at the Bitcoin and see that the same amount or similar amounts of Bitcoins circulating will remain. The supply will always be under 21 million People look at Bitcoin and see that. And after the dollar and the euro disappear, maybe they'll create a new currency. Where instead of having $10 notes, we'll have $100 notes. So replacing them, whatever. We start emitting new currency. Bitcoin will still be under 21 million. When Bitcoin will still be one Bitcoin, people will still be able to buy what has that new currency Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will still have the same amount, not like a dollar, which will have a huge amount circulating. Because of inflation, Bitcoin doesn't have that problem. The number of Bitcoins will still remain under 21 million. So people will buy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will survive. After Bitcoin survives time after time, people will have no choice but to view it as an inflation hedge, just like gold, It's not hard to figure this out. You just have to think critically. Why is Bitcoin dropping? Because people are selling. Okay, why? Who are those people? They're people like you and me. They're scared. They're selling because they don't believe in Bitcoin. Has an inflation hedge like gold, and they're selling Bitcoin. There's no magic. There's no magic dictating the price of Bitcoin. It isn't magic. Just because there's inflation and Bitcoin is designed to survive inflation, is being a hedge, doesn't mean it will increase. You have to think about it realistically. The people that hold the price are the people like you and me, and they can sell, and they can buy. In economic turmoil, they might sell it because they don't believe in it yet. That's it. There's no magic going on. So after the dollar and the euro disappear, their circulating supply of the dollar and the euro start multiplying. There's more and more euros and dollars out there. Each dollar and each euro, each units will be valued less because there's more of it. The purchasing power is split between each note. The more notes there are, the less purchasing power each note has. It's simple. So, Bitcoin doesn't have this problem of multiplying their supply like gold. So after these currencies failing, people will look at Bitcoin. It will have the still under 21 million supply, and people will still be able to buy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will survive. The dollar won't. The dollar will be another currency. Maybe it will still be called dollar, but will be like a fraction of the dollar it used to be. But Bitcoin, that doesn't have the same problem. It won't be a fraction because the supply will remain the same. It's simple. It's so simple, and yet people, I don't know, they can't get it through their heads. They do not get it through their heads. Now, what will happen with Bitcoin? What is the bottom? We don't know. I think there's a chance that it might go to like 15,000. It will eventually have some sort of a bounce. It will probably match a bounce in the stock market. And but yeah, 50,000 is reality. Maybe the bottom will be in September, around September, and the Ethereum merge is also around September, which is great. I think there's a good chance that with Ethereum merge, a new bull run will start in 2023, if the world central banks print us out of this mess, because the European Central Bank, they're saying that they're applying special tools to solve both a coming recession and inflation. Now, how do you do that? How do you solve both things? The only thing the central banks can do is really inflate. There's not much they can do. That's their gimmick. That's what they do. Inflate, create money. That's what the central banks do. So when they say we're applying special tools, they're in other words saying we're printing more, because there's what other tools do they have in the arsenal other than printing? That's like saying a gun will apply special tools. Will you start hammering nails with a gun? No, the gun is for shooting. So if the bank says they're applying special tools, they're going to print. That's what the bank's there for. That's what the central bank does. They print. And then they say they take the money out, but they never do it. And the inflation just continues. So I think there's a chance. I don't think there's a good chance. I don't think there's zero chance. I think there's a chance that the central banks print us out of this mess, maybe in hopes that the war will calm down, supply chain issues will calm down, COVID in China will calm down, and the economy will get stronger, and then they can ease up on the inflation. That might be their hopes, or at least it might be their perceived hope, because I think these people are just corrupt and they don't give a crap about anything. They just don't want to be alive when everything comes crumbling down. So I think they'll just kick the can down the road. I think literally that's it, honestly. So if they kick the can down the road and the markets start recuperating, and the merge happened in September, we might see a 2023 bull run. It's a reality, even though the halving will be in 2024. So, I still think that it's a good idea to accumulate some, not go in, accumulate some altcoins, while we're here. Accumulate altcoins for in case there's a 2023 bull run. It's already a good price. It's already a good price to dollar cost averaging. And then in 2023, if there's a long bear market in 2023, so another possibility, then you dollar cost average in 2023 also. But it is pretty much like guaranteed. We'll either have a bull run in 2023 if central banks print us out of this mess, or maybe we just have a recession during 2023, and then 2024 we have the halving, and the recession starts. The economy starts recuperating, and we have a bull run in 2024. Either way, we're gonna make all kinds of gains. We're gonna make money. So that's my update for today. I sold all my stocks the day before yesterday. Luckily, I sold my defense stocks, my oil stocks, everything before the huge crash, because WTI crude really crashed on fears of a peace between Russia and Ukraine. So DVN crashed like $60 or something. It's now 58. Yeah, I sold it at like 68 actually. 68. Around here. I bought it a lot of it at 60 or something, and then I sold it 10% near the top, 55, 75, and I sold all of it at 68. Now it's 58. And my defense stock, I also sold it because things are really weird right now in the market, and I just took it all out because it's really getting strange. And I also sold all of this like in 460. And even in my snapshot, I sold it at somewhat of a loss because the market is pretty much crazy right now. So I decided to sell everything. I'm still in profit in my stocks, and I still hold PVC because you really can't go wrong with this. Still hold this a good amount. And yeah, we'll see. I think the market it's really strange right now. I'm not in any stock right now. I'm in just cryptocurrency, commodities, and the dollar. Yeah, the dollar. So yeah, that will be all for this video.